I'm going to talk a bit about the Stronghold 2 unofficial patch. I'm just going to do a recording of all the various things that have sort of been fixed in version 0.5.0. Before we do that, I'm going to talk a bit about the roadmap. These two issues here are sadly ones that I wouldn't say I've abandoned them, but there's something I can't really do right now while remaining compatible with multiplayer. So ballistas before version 1.4.0 of Stronghold 2, ballistas, field ballistas specifically, would automatically target enemies that came within range. They still do so for the tower ballistas, but field ballistas don't. You have to manually target an enemy. So this basically restores that. Problem is, if you have the patch, someone else doesn't, and the ballista starts auto-targeting, the game desyncs because the games on both sides made different calculations of what's actually supposed to happen, and that sadly desyncs. Same thing for the unit cap. So one downside of Stronghold 2, considering it very old at this point, is the unit caps can be quite low. In 1v1, so if you only have 2 players, the unit cap is about 550. Whereas if you have 3v3 or a 4v4, it's in the low 300s. I don't remember off the top of my head precisely what it is, but the number of units you can make falls precipitously in a sense. So this was basically making it always 550 units that you can make. So you can always basically make a gigantic army if you wanted to. Other thing, multiplayer saves. This will hopefully go in 0.6.0. So basically, to give you a context of how this is sort of intended to work, in single player, if you save the game, for example, in Kingmaker, it will save the game with the file extension of sh2, if I remember the top of my head. If you actually just change the file extension of that to s2n, it actually becomes a map, a loadable map in Stronghold 2, and you can just load it in multiplayer, single player, on Kingmaker, for example, as a map, and it will spawn with all the same buildings, all the same units, all that stuff. The only thing that'll be different is the gold and honor you start with. Reason for that is just because that's sort of chosen as you start the game. So, let's say 7,500, for example, gold, and then that'll be, I think, 200 honor in that case. So that's that. Yes, I think... Oh, yes, so stop unit troops. This is a very minor one. And same thing for the attack move. So these are both when you have units selected. There's a little button in the bottom right, if I remember correctly, for both those. I can't remember if it's here in the bottom left-ish next to the minimap or in the bottom right, because I don't really use them anymore because I use this patch. So I use the hotkeys instead. Alright, let's show some of those off, and then I'll talk a bit about configuration. So these are configurable. These are just the default values for these. So we're going to talk a bit about some of these things we fixed, but first things first is, so this is effectively the patch itself. So this is the configuration. You don't even need this file if you don't want it. It'll just take whatever the defaults are in that case, so you don't have to override anything. I did it mostly to test my work. I'm quite happy with all the defaults except for scroll speed. I've also renamed this file here, so this is effectively the patch. So it has to be called this precisely, so d3d9.dll. Just changing the name is enough to turn it off. You can also just delete the file, but I'm here to show you the bugs, so I have to be able to effectively recreate those bugs in the meantime. Other thing, I'm going to have the event viewer open. So the event viewer basically just tracks all the various issues that happen in your applications. And you'll see a number of crashes in Stronghold 2 because of the bugs we fixed. So let's go ahead and start Stronghold 2. So I'm just going to clear my logs. So I've actually just caused an issue. But yep, here we've got my game. I'm going to go ahead and put some stables down.
What needed, me lord?
Of course. So I'm going to go ahead and...
We have already placed this building, my liege.
create some notes, so it looks like I've already created everything I want.
How can we help? Moving to site. Engineers at your service. You need something? What's the plan?
So I'm just targeting them
Our
one by one.
tools are
Because,
ready,
makes
at
it a
your
bit more likely
disposal.
that I hit them at the perfect time. We're not going to do that, apparently.
Just
We're not gonna
say
be
the
that lucky.
word.
So I'm going to put them
To
to
battle!
circle formation. Circle formation doesn't really matter. It just makes me more likely to hit them at the perfect time, at the perfect angle here.
Set us a
Don't
task.
have that many horses, so if you can hit them at the moment they're
We
basically
go to
going on.
battle.
So yeah, you can see these guys were going on top of invisible horses and it crashed the game. So if I click refresh, you can see here, Stronghold 2, faulting application, and here's the sort of offset, so you can find where it's happening and then you can work your way up from there. So that's one issue that's sort of been fixed already in the patch. So I'm going to go ahead and clear. I'm going to have to restart the game again. So I'm going to show another bug, which is the out of bounds map bug. So this
Your
one
castle
is
awaits.
quite easy to replicate.
Cite your granary, sire.
Randomly. It doesn't really matter. in this
People
case.
are coming to the castle.
Men, to arms!
So just making a bunch of units. The bigger your army, the more susceptible this is. This is really common. Well, maybe not really, really common, but it's fairly common in maps that don't have these sort of wood lines here at the end. I delete my maps quite frequently, just because there's so many maps that I will never intentionally want to play again. So I'm kind of forced to pick a map that does have a wood line.
My horse
So
is
this wood
swift.
line kind of saves you a lot of the time, but if you don't have a wood line here, it can easily crash. So what I've done is I've put my guys in circle formation.
Ride
You
like the
can
wind.
see where I click,
Galloping
the army doesn't go
horses.
exactly where I want it to.
None
It goes
are
slightly
faster.
ahead of it. So the bigger your army, the further it tries to go out. So if I have, let's say, 200 sized army, so let's say I have 100 horses, 100 mantlets. I click
Our
here.
stallions are
The army
swift.
will actually try to go somewhere over here or even further. It's kind of weird. I don't know why they did that.
Move, my brethren.
Probably not intentional, but whatever.
Watch us.
So yep, I just clicked. So they tried to go outside the bounds of the map, and that crashed the game. So if I go ahead and open my event viewer, click refresh, you can see game crashed. Yay! So we're going to start the game again. Actually, let's clear these logs again. Clear.
Men, to arms!
So I'm going to send my lord to die, effectively.
Under attack!
Follow me. So I'm intentionally killing myself. So this is a bug specifically around recruiting units while you're dying. It can be, I think, any units. I'm just going to use the barracks in this case because that's how I initially run into this. Follow me, everyone. The faster I die, the better. In this instance. Excellent. So we're going to wait until we're about red, and then I'm going to start recruiting units. So yeah, I was recruiting units. In the middle of it, the game just crashed. If I click refresh, boom, you can see the game has an application crashing event. And here's the faulting offset. So those are all the main bugs. So what are we going to do now? We are going to go into Stronghold 2. We're going to go ahead and rename this file so it is appropriate. Before we start, let's go ahead and open this. So this is the configuration file. Currently there's not much to configure. These are only a few things that I've touched myself. Hotkeys. So there's two new hotkeys, the stop troops hotkey and attack toggle hotkey. I'll show both of these. It'll be hard to see sort of in the video, but you can see what buttons I've assigned. If these two aren't assigned, these are actually the default buttons. I picked them just because I like them and I use them. You can change it to whatever you want, pretty much. If they aren't assigned, if you don't even have this file, it will use these defaults. The thing that's default normally here is zoom speed multiplier. So I've played around with my Windows zooming. Windows scrolling. And even if I increase it by a lot, it doesn't affect the game at all in my experience. So scrolling for me feels extremely slow. It seems to depend more on kind of mouse you have rather than anything else. So I've added this so you can increase the speed in which your game scrolls backwards and forwards. Now let's start the game. We now have the patch. Something to note is first thing we're going to see here is intro skip. So
Welcome, my liege.
didn't have to click anything. It just skips that intro video. The reason for that is just because I've seen it a gazillion times at this point. There's no point in watching it anymore. Now let's go ahead and recreate some of these bugs that we have. Let's keep you relatively close because I do want to kill myself.
Your
in the end.
castle awaits. Sight your granary, sire.
Just go
People
close.
are coming to the castle.
We're off home.
Just to make sure he doesn't attack me too early. I am actually going to put some troops
Recruits
out here
needed,
just
sire.
to keep me safe. While people come back to the castle, I'm going to go ahead and bring down this wood line.
Recruits needed, sire.
Men, to arms!
I don't really need these archers anymore.
Recruits needed, sire.
Horses into a circle.
Our troops are under attack. How can we help?
My horse is swift. Ride like the wind. Impossible. I
So
cannot.
earlier
Galloping horses.
they didn't even need to
None
get to the
are
end. It was
faster.
just
Our
about
stallions
clicking
are
into a
swift.
range where it could
Move, my brethren.
go out of bounds.
Watch us
But now you
ride.
can't do that at
We
all.
join the
It
hunt.
just
We
doesn't have
ride
any-
and shoot. Impossible. I cannot.
So it
Impossible.
just doesn't crash
I
the game
cannot.
anymore.
Horsemen
So
of
that's
Arabia.
good. Doesn't seem to
Ride.
matter what
The
angle
plains
you
will
do.
thunder. Ride like the wind.
It does
Galloping
seem to be fully
horses.
fixed. Cool. Let's make some knights. Sadly, I only have 2 knights this time. I'm hoping for a little bit more honor, but I don't think
Your
that's
popularity
necessary.
is rising.
For the sake of this test, 2 is going to have to do the trick.
Engineers at
Cool.
your service.
So, another thing
Moving
here
to site.
is you can see this little stop button here for the units and the attack button for the units. So if I click it, you can see that.
You need something?
And if I stop with this, I can
Location
stop the troops
noted.
as they're moving. This is now key bindable, so default as well as in my configuration that I showed earlier. It's
Setting
H to
off
stop,
now.
as in
Walking
H for halt.
off. Heading out.
And it's on mouse button 4. If you don't, you might not have mouse button 4. It's not
Departing.
available on all, but you can change it to whatever button you want. So instead of having to click here in the bottom, I can just toggle this on my mouse.
Just say the
Alright.
word.
Let's go ahead and get these 2 boys on horses.
What's the plan?
Did I mistime it? Mistimed it.
Our tools are ready.
We go to battle.
To battle! At your disposal.
You are my liege, lord.
Set us a task.
So yeah, you can see they just try to get on the horse, and it didn't crash the game.
History awaits us.
I can do that again. Sometimes they get
Grace.
an invisible horse as a result of this. I think I just mistimed that.
Eager
Yes, I
to
did.
work.
We march.
Engineer detachment heading out.
Onward.
My lord? How can we help? Engineers at your service.
So yeah,
My
this can also
noble
happen.
lord.
Whereas normally it
Let's
would crash the
ride.
game.
Ride on.
Now it
Spur
just is on a
horses.
invisible horse. I would say as a rule,
At
if
the
you see people
gallop.
have
Let's
this,
ride.
just ask them to dismount. Because
What troubles
there's no
you,
horse
sire?
there, there's nothing to hit. So he's unkillable.
Criminals are stealing from our granary,
Is that
sire.
all the bugs? Ah, yes, I'm going to show myself. I'm not going to be able to crash the game anymore, or I shouldn't be able to. Sadly, I am extremely poor, so we'll see if I can actually afford to make any troops. Let's also
No change in the treasury, lord.
do this.
No change in the treasury, lord. Can't place that there, my lord.
Lift those bows, you dogs!
No, whoa.
Jump to it!
Again, we're just going to get ourselves killed here, intentionally.
The lord is under attack.
Oh, very inconvenient. He has to go the long way around. Hold on, come back.
You need something?
Let's just get rid of this wall here.
What's the plan? Yes, sir.
Okay, we can now go ahead and fight William. Sadly, he doesn't have any troops nearby, which is quite inconvenient. It means we might end up winning this fight, but I'm hoping we don't. Maybe if I sit here for a little bit. Nah, let's just get a fight. He should have the edge if I don't put him in circle formation. Nice, stuff to keep. It's good. Take a little bit more damage.
Criminals are stealing from our granary, sire.
Do. Okay, looks like I'm about to die. I'm gonna go ahead and start recruiting troops.
Our troops are under attack.
So yeah, you can see it immediately went to 0. Can't recruit troops anymore. It didn't crash. What you might be able to see here as well is the end of game statistics. So it basically just shows how much gold did you have, how much gold and honor and troops did you have at the end of the game. So that's just this top level here. Source shows the total income you ever made and how you made that money. So you can see I made a little bit from tax and a little bit from trade income. Didn't have any estates, so I didn't get any money from estates. But apparently Sir William bought some estates. Feasting, didn't have any of that. I just had granary and statues, which makes sense. 2 knights I think I should have had. Yep. It also counts the units you start with. So if you're in like Freeman, it'll start from 0 effectively. So it's just all units you ever had, effectively. It might, hopefully it's not flickering for you. This is an overlay over the game, so if I go down screen, it disappears, but if I come back up screen, it'll basically just disappear when I leave the end game screen. It might flicker, but that's not something that happens for me. It looks perfect for me and stable, but I have noticed it does that when I use GeForce Experience to record. But I think that covers all my bases.